Good morning and welcome to KidNuz. I'm Kim. Today is Friday, May 6th, 2022, and we begin with a viral example of good sportsmanship giving wary news watchers something to cheer. 9-year-old Derek Rodriguez was wearing an Aaron Judge jersey Tuesday night when his favorite Yankee launched a home run ball into the bleachers right where he was sitting. Derek didn't snag it. Toronto Blue Jays fan Mike Lanzalotta did, and without missing a beat, put the priceless souvenir into the younger fan's hand. Video shows an overwhelmed Derek thanking the stranger before spontaneously giving him a tearful bear hug. The internet exploded. Even sports writers took note, as did the slugger himself. Aaron invited the now famous fans back to the ballpark a day later for an in-person meet and greet. Derek, who was named after Yankee great Derek Jeter, told waiting reporters that even though Mike is a Blue Jay fan and quite a bit older, he is his new best friend for life. If all went as planned, 4 long-haul astronauts aboard the International Space Station splashed down early this morning in the Gulf of Mexico. The SpaceX crew undocked early yesterday to close out a 176-day mission. But because of where the space station is in orbit relative to where the astronauts needed to land, they had to cool their heels in their tiny return capsule for a full day to, as CBS News reported, be in the right place at the right time to drop out of orbit and into the Gulf at exactly 12:43 a.m. The foursome will be put through a series of medical checks as they readapt to gravity after nearly 6 months in weightlessness. Some call it the run for the roses, others the greatest 2 minutes in sports. Either way, they're referring to the Kentucky Derby, which takes place tomorrow at the track known as Churchill Downs. All 22 of the horses are 3-year-old thoroughbreds, and as of now, the favorite to win is a colt named Zandon. It's the 148th running of the race, and there's plenty of tradition, including oodles of flowers, hats, and mint juleps. Another interesting tidbit, horse racing is the only sport that measures its distance in furlongs, which is 1/8 of a mile. The Kentucky Derby is 1.25 miles or 10 furlongs in distance. Post time is 6:57 p.m. Eastern. The cruise industry took a big hit from COVID, and its return just hit choppy seas. A Carnival ship with nearly 3,000 passengers steamed into Seattle this week with a confirmed outbreak on board. The cruise line won't say how many people tested positive, but unhappy travelers told local TV crews that there were more than 100 cases and the outbreak overwhelmed the crew. Carnival requires all guests to be fully vaccinated and tested prior to a trip, but there are some allowed exceptions. All those infected or exposed were taken off the ship and are now quarantining in Seattle area hotels. Want to study climate change? Stanford University will soon have an entire school dedicated to it. Silicon Valley investor John Doerr and his wife donated $1.1 billion to get the project off the ground. According to the New York Times, that's the largest gift ever given to a university for establishing a new school. The newly named Stanford Doerr School of Sustainability will focus on Earth, climate, and society. In a press release, the new dean leaned on this age-old saying, "We do not inherit the earth from our ancestors, we borrow it from our children." The doors open on September 1st. In other Kid News notes, Tom Cruise certainly knows how to make an entrance. Earlier this week, he choppered onto the deck of the USS Midway aircraft carrier in San Diego to hype the world premiere of Top Gun Maverick, the sequel to the film that made him famous way back in 1986. The movie was supposed to be out in 2019, but hit production and COVID snags. It'll open in theaters May 27th. That's it for Kid News this morning. Now, today's quiz, generously sponsored today by the Olivier family of Ottawa, Canada, who'd like to wish Savannah a wonderful 12th birthday from Mom, Dad, Big Brother Zachary, and Big Sister Eloise. Savannah, our whole team hopes you have the best birthday ever. Now, today's quiz. Just returning astronauts spent how many days in space? 176. How long is a furlong? 1/8 of a mile. What university is opening a school dedicated to climate change? Stanford. Which major movie sequel is due in theaters May 27th? Top Gun: Maverick. In today's Kicker, one of our favorite teacher stories of the past year. Student Devarius Peters was all set to graduate high school in Louisiana last May when an administrator told him his black sneakers weren't considered dress shoes, and he couldn't walk the ceremony. Luckily, the school's nicest teacher's aide was in the audience, and when he found out what was happening, quite literally gave the sidelined senior the shoes off his feet. Later in a Facebook post, Mr. Butler explained that his loafers were 2 sizes too big for Devarius and that the grad had to slide his feet across the stage like a lagoon creature to receive his diploma. The two had a good laugh about it afterward. Mr. Butler called his act of kindness a no-brainer. Before we go, we want to again wish a happy 12th birthday to Savannah Olivier and give a shout out to her friends and teacher, Mr. Macaulay, in grade 6B at Turnbull School in Ottawa, Canada. And as we close Teacher Appreciation Week, we also want to recognize Ms. Masse at Covington Elementary in Los Altos, California. Ms. Carey and her B315 middle schoolers at North Education Center in New Hope, Minnesota. Ms. Ninen at Holmes Elementary in Oak Park, Illinois. Ms. Linrud at McMinnville Adventist Christian School in Tigard, Oregon. And Mrs. Darbyshire and her Goodness Finders at Rex Elementary in Hayesville, Kansas. Thanks for listening, everyone. Remember to celebrate your moms, aunts, grandmas, and guardians this Sunday, and we'll see you back here for more Kid News Monday morning.